In this video, we're going to be talking about reference angles. We're going to begin by going over the definition of reference angles. So we're going to let theta be an angle in standard position. So what that means is that we're starting here at our 0, and we're going to be ending or terminating somewhere else, right? So again, we're starting in that initial position for every single angle, and then moving to a terminal position. Now, a reference angle is the angle theta prime, and that's formed by the terminal side of theta and the horizontal axis. So our horizontal axis in this particular instance is going to be right here. That's our horizontal axis. So there, there, and there. Although in this case, our reference angle is probably more likely to be right here because that's what we're closer to. So your horizontal axis is going to be the part of your x-axis that you're closer to, either on the negative side or the positive side, so the left-hand side or the right-hand side. So you're either closer to 180 degrees, which is this over here, or you're closer to 360 degrees. And as far as radians go, you're either closer to then pi, or you're closer to 2 pi. Now notice that that reference angle is made up of the difference of what it takes to get there. So if this is 180 degrees, and this angle makes up this portion of that, the reference angle is going to ask you, well, what's the leftover piece? If this angle is going to go from here to here, then our reference angle is going to be asking us how much extra were we past the 180. Here, if we're coming all the way around, now the reference angle is asking, well, what's left to get to 360? Let's do some examples. I find it helpful to sketch an example or just a quick sketch of your angle, and that usually will help you with which quadrant you're in and what you should do. So in this first example, we're going to find the reference angle, theta prime, of 300 degrees. So let's sketch that first. So we'll go ahead and we'll create a little sketch. So if we think about it, this right here, this is 270 degrees, and this is 360. So our angle will start here, and it will terminate about 60 degrees short of that. So about right here, our angle is going to then terminate. So our angle is really going from here to here. That's our angle. That's our 300. And we're looking for our reference angle. So how far is it from here to here, right? What does that look like to us? So in that particular instance, something like this is going to be a little bit more of what we're looking for. So we're just short of the 360 degrees. So we're going to take that 360 degrees and we're going to subtract the 300 degrees of our angle. And that's going to tell us that our theta prime, or our reference angle, is going to be 60 degrees. Let's take a look at another example. So here we have that theta equals 2.3. Now don't let the decimal throw you off. It's not that much more difficult to do. So again, this is 0, and this is going to be pi, so 3.14. And so the question is, like, this is normally pi over 2. So what would pi over 2 be as a decimal? So if we took our pi over 2, we would find that we'd get about approximately 1.6. We're just kind of looking for a brief estimate, so 1.6. And we know that 2.3 is going to be somewhere between that. So we're going to start at our initial spot, and we're going to finish at about 2.3. So something like that. So that tells us that here, this right there is our 2.3, and we're looking for our theta prime, right? We're looking for our theta prime. So in this particular instance, it might be helpful to use our first example in quadrant 2. So to find our theta prime, we are going to take the 180 degrees, because we haven't quite gotten there yet, and we're going to subtract our angle of 2.3. Now remember, it's not really 180 degrees, it's really, in this instance, pi. So when we take pi and we subtract our 2.3 from it, that is going to give us a value of approximately 0.84159. So we're going to round that off to be approximately 0.84. And now we've found the reference angle there. Let's try one more. This one's a little bit different because it's a negative degrees. So as we go to draw our little diagram here, this is negative 90 degrees, this is negative 180, and this is negative 270 degrees. So our initial spot is still going to be right here at the 0, but instead of moving up and over, we're going to move down and around. So our ending place, if we're going for 135, that's going to tell us that we're going to be just short of the negative 180. In fact, we're going to be about 45 degrees short. So I have my sketch. So my negative angle is going from here to here. That's my negative 135. So my reference angle is going to be the distance from here to here. What is that going to be? So my theta prime can be pretty easy to find. Now what you should know is that reference angles are always going to be positive. So you might have seen something where it's like, oh, find the coterminal angle and then use that to subtract. You can totally do that and that's fine. But a simpler way is to still look at it and go, well, I'm still trying to get to 180 and 135 just still isn't quite there yet. So we can still take that 180 and subtract our 135. And what that's going to tell us is that our theta is going to say, hey, you're 45 degrees short of coming up with that. And so I'm going to get that my reference angle is 45 degrees. Now, if I had done this, finding the coterminal, so let's go ahead and let's redraw it and say that, okay, I'm starting here, and I've got my angle there. So this is the negative 135, right? Negative 135 degrees. And if I was looking for my coterminal angle here, I would take the 360 degrees and I would subtract my 135 degrees. And that would give me that I'm working with a coterminal angle of 225 degrees. So that'd be 225 degrees. And so my reference angle is still going to be this angle right here. And so now I'm just going to be going, gosh, I'm already past the 180. So I'm going to take my 225 and subtract the 180 that I went past. And how far past it am I? Well, I am, sorry, let me just write that down. That's going to tell me that my reference angle is telling me that I'm 45 degrees past that. So notice that reference angle is the same reference angle, but there are two different ways to get it. Either way is fine and will get you the right answer. But it's important to remember that reference angles can only be positive.